Good morning, world. This is Edward Bevilacqua on November 6, 2018, here in Las Vegas. This is election day, big day across the country. But for our purposes, we're going to be talking about Simon Sinek TED Talk today. It's not actually a TED Talk, but it's our TED Talk section of the day, or TED Talk discussion on our curriculum here at Novum-U. So hello to the students in Reno, of course, hello to the students at Casa Grande and at the Clark County Detention Center and our campus, our classroom outside of the jail and prison here in Las Vegas too. Good morning, everyone. Today we're doing Simon Sinek. This is Inside Our School-Sized Kingdom, day 2. Yesterday we did Sebastian Song, I Am My Connectome. And I know it's been one whole day, so a lot is forgotten. But yesterday we did Sebastian Song, I Am My Connectome, and we learned that fundamentally the stuff stored inside the neurons in our brain makes up who we are. And we know that's true because if we have brain damage, traumatic brain injury, we lose who we were before that happened. And the good news is the brain is elastic and plastic, so we can rebuild, reclaim what was lost. See, the sun is coming in. I'm going to make a small adjustment. Well, maybe that worked. We'll see. Nope. Okay, that probably did it. Okay, so our connectome, our neurons contain our lived past, our anticipated future, our imagination, our ability to simulate, and a whole bunch of other things. Our connectome is vital to us being able to control our emotions, being able to dial in who we need to be right now, and understanding how other people's brains work. So today, we're moving on to the second part, which is neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are those things that cause us to have feelings. If we did not have neurotransmitters released in our systems, our bodies, our brains, we would not feel. So, and it turns out that our feelings affect our behavior, and of course we know that our behavior affects the outcome. So in order to maximize who we are and how we behave, it's important to know how neurotransmitters work and what they cause us to do. And then skipping ahead, once we know what neurotransmitters do and how they work and what they are and the different ones, then we can create, as David Phillips said, an angel's cocktail mixture of neurotransmitters to make us feel a certain way so that we'll behave a certain way, and the outcome hopefully will be what we intend. So it's all pretty basic, pretty simple, and it comes down to understanding these things. So Simon Sinek's TED Talk, the one we're watching today, he talks about it in terms of leadership. That's good, that's cool. We kind of get to that in week 4 or week 3. But our main purpose for watching it is to learn the neurotransmitters and how they work. He does a very good job of breaking down the 4 positive neurotransmitters, or as he said, the ones that make us feel happy. Endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. And then he also talks about cortisol too, which is vitally important. So we watch it to get an understanding of the neurotransmitters, how they work, why they work. Now, an interesting thing to note, or to make note of, to incorporate into your system, not leave home without it, is that we can imagine things and release neurotransmitters. We don't actually have to do a thing. So by that, an example would be in the longer programs, we watch Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy talks about power posing, and she makes a point. It's done a study. Her talk, which is probably the #2 TED Talk, most popular TED Talk, is that our body posture, our body language, the way we hold our body will cause the release of neurotransmitters. So for example, she says if you hold a pencil in your teeth to force you to sort of smile, you will release neurotransmitters that make you feel good. You don't have to actually have something that you believe to be humorous in front of you to make you smile. Just smiling will release neurotransmitters. And so her studies had to do with power posing, both high power posing, making yourself big, and lower power posing, making yourself small, will release different neurotransmitters. But taking it one step further, you don't have to actually do a thing. You can just imagine doing a thing and release neurotransmitters. So again, if you know how the neurotransmitters work and why they work, then you can imagine things, create things in your own brain to release the neurotransmitters that will make you feel a certain way, and that will change your behavior, and that should change the outcome. So for example, sometimes it's important to get yourself to run into a burning building, and other times it's important to get yourself to not run into a burning building. And it's the neurotransmitters that cause you to feel what you need to feel to get you to behave the way you need to behave. Now, of course, the follow-on to this is if I know how my brain works, then I know how your brain works. So if I can release neurotransmitters in you that get you to feel a certain way, then your behavior will be affected by your feelings, and the outcome will also be affected by the feelings. So if I know how my brain works, I know how your brain works, and what I need to know then is what you believe. I need to know what your beliefs are. So if I tap into those beliefs, or if I push the button for a particular belief, then that's going to make you, that will release a neurotransmitter, which will make you feel a certain way, behave a certain way, and the outcome will be a certain way. As an example, common thing in prison, especially in jail, is this concept of respect, that guys in jail feel they need to be respected. And so if you want to get somebody upset, so that's a belief. I need to be respected. You need to respect me. Okay, that's a belief. So if I want the outcome to be bad for you, I want you to behave badly. And to get you to behave badly, I need you to feel upset. And if I push the button of not respecting you, and your belief is you're going to want to be respected, you demand respect. If I disrespect you, that will release cortisol and adrenaline. And you are going to feel anger. And the more I push your buttons, in quotes, or rock and roll quotes, the more I push your buttons, the more upset you're going to be, and I can maybe push it to the breaking point. So that's not our goal. That's just an example. And we want to not deflate the air in people's tires. We want to inflate the air in people's tires. We want to build people up. And that means our definitions of building people up or making people do things is power. We want power because power is our path to success. And in our class, success means having money plus meaning and purpose. Money, value neutral. Money is a tool. It just gives us the ability to experience more. There's no positive value judgment with money. Money is not, lack of money is not the root of all evil. Money is not the lack of all, or the root of all evil. Money is what money does. And for our purposes, it gives us the ability to experience more. And to have a meaningful and purposeful life, we want to be able to experience life to its fullest, and that requires money, because there's probably not 1 square inch of land in this whole world that isn't owned by somebody or controlled by somebody. So you have to pay for everything. So money is the means, universally accepted means of payment. Um, and so our goal is for success is you have to have money, the ability to experience more. But along with that, you have to have meaning and purpose, which for us means service to other people. And service to other people will release oxytocin. When you release oxytocin, a lot of good things happen, and other things that are not so good don't happen, like the release of dopamine. So it's vital for us to be able to get people to do what we want, have power, and use that power to have for us to get money and meaning and purpose, and therefore be successful. Okay, now back to Simon Sinek. So he talks about four positive neurotransmitters: endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. It's vital that you know these. In fact, you need to know them to the level of Neil Martin, where they're part of your unconscious brain. You don't have to think about it; you just know it. And so that's where our um, Quizlet will come in to help you know these things. Quizlet, is available on your smartphone. So while you're on the bus, while you're doing anything other than being in class that you would normally just listen to music or play games, here's where you should be doing Quizlet or Coursera or watching the TED Talks over again. Do something productive to help move you forward. So endorphins mask physical pain. And by physical pain, that means physical pain, not emotional pain, not spiritual pain, just physical pain. So when you're working out, you get to a certain point, you're tired, then all of a sudden, boom, you feel good. That's because endorphins were released in your system. Dopamine is the rock and roll, sex, drugs, rock and roll is the nickname for it. It's very good because it makes you get things done, but it's Simon Sinek says it's highly, highly, highly addictive. And people who have addiction problems, it relates to dopamine. And if we take that one step further and attach it to Johann Hari about addiction, we can basically conclude that when you sever relations with people and bonds with people, meaning you're not going to release oxytocin, the best neurotransmitter of them all. You're not going to release oxytocin. So what's going to make you happy? Well, you could go to the gym and work out a lot, have endorphins, and that would also be dopamine to get you to want to do it over and over. You could do things that make you proud. Maybe President Trump right now is all of the stuff he's going through. It's because he's a serotonin junkie. But mainly, you probably choose something that is associated with serotonin and it becomes addictive. Could be shopping, could be your cell phone, could be gambling, could be drugs, alcohol, sex, any of those things. Applying the Johann Hari thing is you've severed bonds with people, but as humans, we need to bond with something. So if we're not going to bond with the person, we're going to bond with something that makes us happy, and hence the release of dopamine. Serotonin, pride, makes you do things to have status. And then oxytocin, the best neurotransmitter of them all, does a lot of things physiologically, for you. Improves your heart, dilates your blood vessels. Also, it makes us want to help other people. And at the end of the Simon Sinek talk today, you're going to see that he's going to talk about what you can do to help people the most is to spend time with them with no expectation of return. Just be with them. That's going to release oxytocin. Empathy, compassion would be signs of oxytocin. Courage, doing things, sacrificing for other people, oxytocin. So that's it. And then we're going to ask the first two questions, which you may have already done. Question number one is what? What? Was he a good presenter? And what are we looking for? What are we looking for? We're looking for how did you feel? Not how did he make you feel, but how did you feel? And this is an important thing because we need to recognize our feelings, um, and we need to be able to articulate our feelings if we want other people to feel things when we present. Okay, so why do we care how we felt? We care how we felt because good presenters bond, and I want to be a good presenter because if I'm a good presenter, that's the first step in our simple, elegant equation of how you have power. So I need to bond with you. We all need to learn to bond. We need to recognize our feelings. We need to be able to articulate those feelings. Second question is what? So if you can't remember it, you don't have it written down in your book, you can go to your insert table of contents, open it up on the inside top left corner. It has the two questions. So second question, was he persuasive? What are we looking for? Did we learn anything? If you didn't learn anything, you can't, the person is not persuasive. You might enjoy them, you might like them, you might like the talk, but you can't be persuaded about something you already know. And what are we looking for here? Did we learn anything? Why do we care? Because good presenters add value. Why do we care about that? Because we need to be a good presenter. And that's the second step in our simple, elegant equation of how to get power. Bond and add value. The third thing will be to ask. And so we don't ask the third question because it takes too much time to do the first two. But the third question is, what is the ask? What did he ask you to do? And I think you can figure it out from the TED Talk. But again, our purpose on the Simon Sinek TED Talk today, which wasn't actually on TED, it was 99U. Our purpose was to understand the neurotransmitters. Learning about leadership is a byproduct. It's just an added benefit. It's not why we watch it. So I encourage you to watch this more than once. Put it in your library, save it, subscribe to our Larson Training Center's channel. And rather than just listening to music, and my hunch is the music you listen to is a dopamine, highly repetitive, a lot of bass, type of music that gets you feeling good because it taps into dopamine releasing behavior beliefs. Instead of doing that, do what Neil Martin says, have the discipline, do the repetitive stuff, push this stuff into your unconscious brain, because to be successful, this is what you need to do. Okay, so that's it. Thank you, world, for being there and our students, and we will see you tomorrow.